Hello, welcome to the Profitable Home Services Podcast. I'm so glad you could join us again this week. Normally, I bring on a guest and we talk about hidden profit leaks in the home services industry. Well, today I thought I would go back through some of my more popular episodes and highlight 5 or 10 of the most common profit leaks that we've seen so far and highlight some of the guests that have brought this to our attention. I know this is valuable information, so let's get started. So my first guest that brought a wonderful profit leak to us was Randy Sadler from CIC Services. Randy is part of a company that offers captive insurance programs. A captive insurance program is a program that allows a business owner to basically self-insure their risks in areas that they wouldn't be able to afford covering those risks out in the commercial market. The beauty of this is you use your own insurance company to do it. And so your own insurance company is receiving the policy premiums that you're paying in. And when you have claims, you submit it to your own company. So this allows you to not only cover risks that you might not be able to afford to cover, but it also allows you to earn income over on the other side through investing some of those funds over time and creating a little bit of a kind of almost like a retirement package for yourself. Randy talks about using this as a way to create revenue, an additional revenue stream, where we can utilize it to grow our businesses and to increase the profits in our businesses. In full transparency, Randy and I have been working together for several years now, and I love the captive insurance program for my clients, especially when they start getting up around 5 million plus in sales, and they've got a nice healthy profit. This dramatically allows them to increase their coverage and be able to cover themselves for unforeseen things like the COVID pandemic when that came around. Most insurance policies didn't cover that. Or maybe there's an unexpected earthquake or a storm or tornado, or I don't know, something that isn't normally expected in your part of the country. Your insurance policy doesn't cover it. Well, potentially your captive insurance might cover it. So this is a nice way of looking at how can we take expenses that we're already spending in the insurance market, minimize, yes, we still have to buy some of it from commercial insurance, but not all of it, and take some of that money and add a little bit more to it and have your own insurance company and be able to insure your company for these risks that you couldn't insure normally. I'll give you an example of, let's say you have a very, very important employee, or maybe it's another member of your team that's a very important person on your team. And if you lost that person, your business would really, really feel it. Well, that is an area that could potentially be covered through your captive, and you could potentially turn in a claim if something happened and you lost that person, especially if it was unexpectedly. And so there's some areas here that we can do some definite profit planning and help close up some leaks and allow you to have some peace of mind just by utilizing captive insurance. So if you're interested in more information on that, head on over to our podcast page and you'll find information on this particular podcast as well as others. My next guest that I want to showcase for you and bringing in another hidden profit leak is Mike Michalowicz. You may be familiar with him. If you look over my shoulder, he's the author of Profit First and Pumpkin Plan, Fix This Next, and his newest book, All In. In this episode, Mike and I talked about the way many companies increase somebody's salary due solely to them being there for a certain amount of time. And it has to do with it's expected. An employee expects a raise every so often, whether it's every 6 months, once a year, whatever it is. And so you dutifully hand out the raises. Well, what if during this same time period, your sales have been flat and your profits have actually decreased due to the rising costs of your job materials, the rising costs of all your overhead costs? Your profits have actually decreased. And here comes that employee with their handout asking for a raise. How do you work with that? How do you deal with that? What's the best way to make that work? Well, what if instead of giving them a raise based on the amount of time that they've worked for you, what if their raise was based on some sort of a productive type viewpoint, something that could be measured? They've increased your bottom line some way. If they're a salesperson, it's easy because you can look at the number of calls that they're making, what their conversion rates are, that type of thing. If they're a customer service rep person, here again, you can look at the number of calls coming through, how many are getting answered, what the conversion rates are. Gets a little harder when you move into your office staff. They're there, they're taking care of things, they're doing your bookkeeping, your invoicing, applying those payments, they're doing all that kind of stuff. But how do you know if they're really contributing to your bottom line profit? Find a way that you can measure something that directly ties in what they do with to your top line sales and your bottom line profit. And then once you have a measurement in place, now when that measurement increases to a certain point, now they get a raise, not just because they've worked for you for this particular period of time. What a concept that is. And it's an amazing way to plug what could be a very big profit leak of just giving somebody a raise because they've been with you for a period of time. That can be a huge profit leak on your business. And you'll find tips like this in Mike's newest book called All In. In fact, he's got an return on payroll calculator that in there they suggest that if you look at the sales of your company, every paid full-time employee or full-time position in that company should contribute about $150,000 to your sales. And so it's a good barometer to go in and look at how many people do I have working for me? Multiply that times 150,000 and how are you doing? Are you close? Are you overstaffed or understaffed? Take a look at where things are. It's a nice way of just a quick little look at how things are going for you. My next guest I'd like to showcase is Dave Sanderson. I met Dave, many years ago as he was just starting his speaking career. He happened to be the last passenger off of the plane that landed in the Hudson River many years ago now. And I ran into him at that point, and I was so touched by what he had to share and what it was like to be the person helping everybody get off that plane safely. Well, Dave has since turned that around into a speaking engagement company. And he talks about many various different topics and stuff. But when he was on the podcast, we started talking about business owners trying to do it all. They're trying to do everything. They're trying to make sales. They're trying to do office work. They're trying to keep their production crew running. If they have a shop of some sort, they're out in the shop trying to manage their shop and keep things happening. They're out on the job site trying to make sure things are going okay there. They're come in the office and put out some fires. They might run to a networking event or a chamber of commerce or something like that and put their face out there. And they may end up home late at night, leaving early every single morning, coming in late at night, missing out on family time, missing out on their kids growing up. And that's not what they signed up for. And so a profit leak is a business owner trying to be everything to everybody. You just can't do it, not indefinitely. I know I've tried it over the years. Can't do it indefinitely. You can do it for short periods of time. But what if, as the business owner, you were able to take some quiet time and look at all the various things that you do and all the different hats that you wear. What if you were able to come up with just a few items that you really enjoy doing? They add to your top line revenue or to your your bottom line profit. What if you were able to take those items and put your time intentionally there and let somebody else take care of some of these other tasks that need to be done? You would find your company starting to turn around and thrive, and those sales would start growing. Your overall company atmosphere would start changing because you're no longer juggling all these balls, trying to keep them in the air, and you can't keep them all in the air. You're dropping balls, and so you end up not being good at anything because you're trying to do everything. So zeroing in on what is your zone of genius? Where can you make the best contribution in your company? And staying there. Doesn't mean you don't occasionally get pulled out and have to go do something, but for the most part, just staying there. What an amazing closing of a profit leak or plugging of a profit leak that would be. Because we oftentimes as business owners don't see ourselves as a profit leak. And in reality, we are. So let's plug that profit leak, help you figure out where is your zone of genius, and then determine a plan so that you can work towards being able to stay there. It's going to mean delegating some tasks. It may mean hiring some help. It may mean letting a few things go because maybe they're not that important to do. But getting into your zone of genius and being able to stay there and give your company the best part of yourself, give your family a good, healthy part of yourself, and have some time for yourself. So my next guest that we had on the podcast was Bill Black from Pension Specialists. He is another one of my favorite guys to work with. Been working with him for years. Bill puts together customized retirement plans. And I have to tell you, I have been the recipient of getting to watch him work his magic. We have taken plans that payroll companies have put together or those state mandated plans that are required out there in a lot of states now. And Bill can take that and turn that into a plan that benefits not only your business, but benefits you as the owner dramatically. This plugs another potentially big profit leak. I had one client a few years back who had a 401k plan, but he was told every year by the plan administrator that he couldn't put anything into it. So he couldn't even do a payroll deduction himself. Or I should say he was limited, I think, $1,800 a year. And he could not understand what was going on. So I hooked him up with Bill and his team, and they took a look at this plan. It was one of the most poorly written plans we had seen up to that date, and was able to amend that plan. And from that point forward, that particular business owner was able to contribute maximum amount through his own payroll deductions, as well as partake in the maximum amount of the company match for those funds that he and his employees had put in each year. What a life changer it was for him. I've had another business fairly recently go through the same type of thing, another plan that a payroll company put together. This particular plan allowed every employee to vest immediately into the plan. So if that employee had been with them for like 30 days, they were vested and they got 100% of whatever was contributed on their behalf, versus a customized plan where a lot of times we make them stick around for a year or maybe a little bit longer even before they're fully vested. Maybe it's 2 years, and you're able to vest them a little bit at a time so that if they leave, they don't take 100% of whatever it was that you put in as the employer profit sharing piece. But rather that money dumps back into the pot and gets reallocated, and you as the owner get a part of it. So Bill's done some amazing work with several of my clients and helping them fix those plans that are not serving them well and that are leaking profits out the door, and the client isn't even aware of it. So it's another one of those big profit leaks that Bill Black from Pension Specialists can help you with. The next one I want to mention to you was a very fun interview. That was with Stephen Christopher from Wit Delivers. Stephen's specialty is digging out those ineffective CSR teams, or your customer service representative teams. He has found in all his years of working with home service businesses that the main problem in your CSR department is inadequately trained CSRs. What an idea to think that we need to spend as much time on that part of your company as we do on your actual sales team or your production team or your technicians, whatever it might be. That when we have adequately trained CSRs, your sales increase because your conversions start increasing. We get that phone ringing from your sales department, and now your CSRs are answering it. They have an amazing way of answering that phone, and the way that they speak with people, they're able to close more of the deals for you, and it keeps your sales going. I know that as we're speaking right now, I've talked to several of my clients that the sales just aren't there this year that were there last year at this time. Things are a little bit tighter, a little bit tougher than they were a year ago. And if we can have a good, strong CSR department, we're not letting sales leak out the door. Instead, we're bringing them in-house and we're taking care of them and we're making profit on those jobs. So another potentially big profit leak is an improperly trained CSR department. Let's get that fixed. Let's plug these profit leaks, because I want you to join me in saying, I'm proud to be profitable. Small businesses are the backbone of our country. We employ the majority of the workers out there. And if we're not profitable, those workers don't have jobs. So let's be proud to be profitable. And I'm going to give you a challenge of staying profitable. Be sure and go back through these profit leaks and any others that you've seen from our various podcast episodes. Every week, we hone in on a new profit leak. So join us for next week as we delve into this topic a little bit further. Welcome to the Profitable Home Services Podcast. I'm so glad you chose to join us. Today, I'm going to do part 2 of our 10 most common profit leaks that we've encountered so far. Now, there's a whole bunch more of them that we can share with you over time, but we'd like to go in and pick out some of the ones that we think make the biggest difference for our home service businesses. So today I want to start out with talking with you a little bit about our guest, was Justin Wise from justinwise.net. Justin is a marketing professional. He is amazing with words. Some of the rest of us might be good with solving problems or being in the numbers or whatever it might be, but Justin's a wizard when it comes to words. And Justin's profit leak for us was all around having content creation. If your business isn't visible out on the web, if your business doesn't come across as being professional and that you know what you're talking about, you've got authority and possibly a little bit of celebrity included in there. If your business doesn't have those things, you're leaking profits. And you stop and you ask me, Diane, how can you be leaking profits? Well, you're leaking profits because you're missing out on sales. Sales that could be coming to you, sales that could be landing on your website, phones that would be ringing in your office, sales that you're missing out on. And it's so important to have that content creation out there. Justin says it is just as important as paying your bills, or it's just as important as going out and actually installing a job. Creating content. And if it's not something that comes natural to you, because not all of us are word people, there are companies that will work with you, that will help you. Justin's got a program. We mentioned earlier some of the other programs out there. You can find a professional to help you in this area and be able to showcase your company in a way that people look at it and go, I want to work with them. So content creation is so important, and it can be a very big profit leak for you. My next guest that I had on one of my episodes was Daniel Dixon from Send Gym. I enjoyed my interview with Daniel as he and I got on the topic of marketing to your existing customers. We spend so much of our effort on trying to find new customers. We're always looking for the next new person we can bring in, our next new prospect. Can we find some more houses in the neighborhood that we're currently working in? Can we attend a networking event and come back with some more leads or anything? But what about your current customers? Have you ever thought of putting together a loyalty program that rewards them for coming back and doing business with you? When you market to your current customer, the cost of getting them to do business with you again is considerably less than the cost of acquisition of a new customer. And what if you were able to build a relationship that your current customers are sending their friends, their family members, their coworkers, their business associates, whoever it might be, to you? So something to think about. How can you market to your current customers? There's various programs out there, and Send Gym has some ideas on how that it can help you handle that. Another big profit leak, because if it takes, I'm just going to use a number. Let's say it costs you $45 to get a new customer. But if you just marketed to your existing one, it might only be not even half that, considerably less. So be thinking about, how can you create some sort of a loyalty program? How can you reward them for coming back and doing business with you again? Great way to plug another profit leak in your business. My next guest I want to showcase today is Mike Disney from Winding River Recruiting. When I met with Mike, we started talking about the lack of financial responsibility. And you're like, Diane, what does that mean? What does that have to do with a profit leak? Well, it boils down to, do you know your numbers? Are you looking at them every day, every week, and every month? Not just once a year, or not at all. Because we know that what gets measured matters. And when we're never measuring anything, we're not able to improve in any particular area. But if you're measuring various numbers in your business, and if you're running some job costing on your jobs, you can see if you're staying profitable, if your profits are starting to slip a little bit. And this economy, as tight as it is, the profit margin isn't what it used to be. And so you have to be very careful that you keep those numbers where they need to be in order to keep being profitable. Otherwise, you're going to find you'll be doing a job and you'll be doing it at a loss. And we don't want to do that. So getting in and really working with another professional to help you understand those numbers is key. Because you're good at what you went into business for doing. Not because you're good at accounting or bookkeeping or taxes, heaven forbid, but because you're good at being an electrician. Maybe you're good at being a roofer or a plumber, or you're an amazing HVAC technician. Those are why you went into business. Maybe you're a great landscaper, whatever it might be, but you need to learn how to use your numbers. And working with a professional can help get you up to speed fairly quickly on how to use those numbers and utilize them, and which ones are important and which ones should I be watching, which are leading indicators, which are lagging indicators. Which ones are going to tell you what happened last month, and which ones are going to tell you what could happen this month. So getting in and knowing your numbers and staying on top of them and watching for trends, that's what we need to do. And that will help plug a very big profit leak. When I work with clients that don't know their numbers, they don't know if they're profitable on each job or not. Once they get to where they understand their numbers and can start doing things with those and start making decisions based on those numbers, their profit margins start increasing. It's just a given, it will happen because we're measuring it, we're monitoring it, we're talking about it on a regular basis. My next guest I'd like to showcase is Brigham Dickinson from Power Selling Pros. Brigham has a program where he helps to train the CSRs in your company. So his profit leak was all around increasing the numbers from your CSRs. So the calls come in, increasing those people who will buy and possibly even upselling into a bigger sell, depending on how well trained your CSRs are. They can greatly increase your conversion rates, all with a properly trained CSR. So Brigham and his team have listened to thousands of calls. Because they listen to the calls, they can find areas to improve how your CSRs work. And when your CSRs are letting sales slip through their fingers because of lack of training, that becomes a very big profit leak for you. But if they've been properly trained and they're getting caught in the filter of your company, then you're able to help them and you're able to make money on each of those jobs, especially because now you understand your numbers and you can track these types of things. We also know that the CSRs section of your company is a very transient department in your company, or tends to be. They tend to not stay with you for very long, sometimes as much as 2 years, sometimes much shorter than that. But by giving them the proper training and making them feel important, now you can dramatically increase how long a CSR will stay with you. And when they stay longer, you've plugged a second profit leak, not just to do with sales, but you've plugged a profit leak that has to do with having the cost of constantly be hiring and constantly be training. Or if we can get a fully trained group of individuals in that position, now we've saved those costs. We've plugged another profit leak. So a big thank you to Brigham for his program and helping us have much better CSRs in our companies. Well, my next guest I want to showcase is Ed Lyon from Taxmaster Network. Ed and I have worked together for probably 15 years now. He is the person where I first learned how to do tax planning. Ed's whole program is around helping you make sure that you're paying the least amount of tax you legally need to pay as a business owner. Not a penny more and not a penny less. Because when we're overpaying our income taxes, that's another profit leak. And so by working with me and my programs, we're able to work with you on increasing those profits. And then once we get your profits to this level that they're nice and strong, then we want to talk about some tax planning ideas and help you keep more of that money you've worked so hard to earn. We don't want to give more of away than we really need to give away. So tax planning can be a very important part of your profit plan, overall profit plan, making sure you're just paying the amount that you really have to pay and not anything else over and above that. Such a very important section of being profitable as a home service business. Well, that concludes the second 5 of my top 10 profit leaks that we found in profitable home services in the industry. I'm sure as we go down the road, we'll be gathering another group of these for you and recapping them as well. Be sure and watch for the articles that are come attached to this episode, as we'll have links to each of these websites of our podcast guests. And once again, I want you to stay profitable. I want you to be proud to be profitable. And we will catch you on our next episode. So long.